Alright guys, welcome to the video. Couple things before we get started into it. Some of the parts are redacted because the sweatshirt I was wearing has a copyrighted logo on it. I don't really feel like getting sued. You're gonna see me go from highs to lows. There's a story. So if you feel you want to sit around and actually watch the entire thing in its entirety, you can kind of see where I'm at from point A to point B. It's pretty clear once you put it out in a timeline like this. Any of the opinions that you see in this video, anything I say, any of the comments that I type in there, those are my opinions. Nobody is paying me to do it. It's not anybody else's promotional or, on behalf of anybody. So, all right, so I've been kind of mulling over how I wanted to go about this, but the reason why I'm making this video today is that um, yesterday morning, which was the 13th of March, I was stopped by an officer here in the city of Germantown, and I'll post pictures or a timeline. You'll see the timeline. But I've been having some issues with the officers on the night shift for not even a full 10 days. The timeline will clearly show on the calendar when I bought my car. I just bought a new car, 2018 Dodge Challenger. Shows on the calendar when I got my windows tinted and how long it's been since it's been over a month at this point. Monday marked a month that I had my windows tinted. We are going to look at some of the things that drivers really shouldn't deal with. I understand the time of day where I work. You'll see on the calendar as well the times of day I drive to work. I understand my car is a muscle car, so it is going to be more of a targeted vehicle. But that doesn't obviously give the right to be harassed or to give me carte blanche to be harassed as I go to work. A lot of people are going to say, well, they have reasonable suspicion or they have probable cause. Well, the only thing they could potentially say, there's a few things. There's speeding, which I don't do clearly because of the time of day, and even then, it's speeding. Two, inattentive driving or reckless driving. I don't squawk my tires, I don't light it up. The last thing potentially could be window tint. Now, I've had the tint on my car for 32 days. Now, from February 10th is when I brought my car home. February 11th, I drove it to work. So within the last 26 days, there's been how many shifts you'll be able to see. You can count them for yourself. Pause the video if you want. How many days I've actually been driving with tinted windows. Um, I've driven during the day. It's never been an issue. Uh, when I first got my car, it was never an issue. It's ceramic tint. If anybody knows anything about tint or has ever been in a car with ceramic tint, it's at 20%. That's what I was told it was when I got it installed. Um, and the reason why he suggested 20% tint was because one, he explained it to me as it was legal in Wisconsin. That was my assumption leaving. Now he also did tell me, the gentleman who did it, I have a lifetime warranty on my window tint. So if I need to take my window tint back, I already had the driver window flake out. But regardless, if I had any issues, I could take it to him. He would replace it no cost. So if I need to do any kind of adjustments, different, change the percentage, whatever, the tint will be something down the road. So just keep that in your mind, the word tint. I'll talk about it more once we get into it. Um, the third and the fifth are when you'll see is when I had my first, I wouldn't say interactions, but the first time I started having issues. And that was the 5th and the 6th of March in the morning. Um, Obviously, I posted about it on Facebook, and I'll thumbnail that in there too. But long story short, the officers really didn't have a reason to follow me. And when I say follow me, they literally were within 5 feet of my bumper. They followed me back and forth. This all takes place between Squire Lane on actually Pilgrim Road to not even the freeway on Highway 45. And if anybody knows this area, there's literally like a 6 mile strip. I don't not, it's all approximate, but I'll put the map up where you can kind of see where I was driving. It's literally Landon Mequon Road. Um, there was one time, the first day on the 5th, I pulled over two times. One in the golf course because he was so far back from me at the light, and the police station is literally on the map. You'll see the library. It's right next door to the library. It's a little gray box, but he literally pulled out as I was probably a half block down from that light, and he flew up on me. And it's not like, hey, I'm casually turning, I'm patrolling the area, not a patrol speed. This was pursuit speed. He pulled up and got within 10 feet, not even 10 feet, he was within 5 feet of my car. So I thought I was being pulled over. I turned into the golf course thinking I was getting pulled over. Now, granted, he didn't turn his lights on, or he just drove by. He ended up doing the cat and mouse game. He went down the little light, turned around, and saw that I was going now back the same direction I was going. So then he turns around and does the same maneuver again. Now, I say maneuver because it wasn't really anything requiring him to do that. He literally chose to turn around and then 5 feet from my bumper, follow me. So then I pulled over a second time just past Mequon Road. I'm thinking I'm getting pulled over. Anybody who has a reasonable, cognizant mind and is a driver and has been pulled over before, an officer doesn't aggressively pull up on you unless they have a reason. Either your brake lights out, your headlights aren't on, whatever. It's a speeding, you have a warrant, whatever the case may be. Long story short, he passes me, sits on the on ramp, or past the on ramp at the park and ride. I take the freeway, not a big deal. I stop playing the cat and mouse game. I just go to work. Next day, I'm upset about obviously the 5th, and I had posted about it, and I'm thinking to myself, okay, this can't happen twice. That was just a fluke. Well, the second night I am driving on the 6th, the morning of the 6th, I'm driving the same direction, westbound on Landon Mequon Road. The officer's sitting at the light right by the high school. I can't remember what it is, but you'll see it on the map. It's the last intersection before the road curves down to Mequon Road. But the officer was sitting at the light, had a signal going left. As soon as I crossed through the intersection, he was sitting at the light with a signal on going left, face indicating eastbound. As I crossed the intersection, he literally flipped his blinker the other way to indicate he was going west, and then pulled out right after me. Now he proceeded to jump in the same lane I was. I was near the median or the center lane. I was in the left lane, driving the speed limit again. Right there, it goes from 35 in that section to 45. So coming down that hill, if I was speeding, I'm sorry, but once again, it was the aggressive pull up, and then 5 feet within my bumper. Now this time he followed me and I just drove the speed limit, stayed in my lane, and he literally followed me up to the light through the intersection by Quick Trip, which is the first. I think it's Maple Road. And then as I approached the freeway, I signaled to turn onto the freeway, and he followed me. The light was red. He sat behind me the entire light, and then as the light turned green, I turned left. At this point, I think he's going to hit the lights at some point. Mistaken to me, I pull off. I pulled over the side of the road. I signaled and everything. And as I'm pulling over and I look over my shoulder, I see the officer slowing down on the on ramp. So I roll down my window and I kind of raise my hands and I'm like, what's going on? Well, at that time, I didn't really get a full description, but I could see it was like a larger male and he had a beard. I couldn't get the squad number. So the next best thing I did was I decided to, at that point, as I'm sitting on the shoulder of the freeway on ramp, I called the department and I spoke to the supervisor. And I'm gonna play that call. It's a pretty lengthy call. This video isn't gonna be short. but I want you to hear how he kind of. I don't want to say he downplayed the situation, but I did find out some information. Like one, obviously they still have GPS in their squads. Two, he acknowledged that the officer that was following me tonight was also working tonight and potentially could have been involved in both occurrences, and that he also said that hey, this is just a random thing; it's not going to keep happening. So we're gonna get through that phone call, and then we're gonna jump into what happened on the 13th.
This is Sergeant Farnsworth.
Hi, Sergeant Farnsworth. My name is Tyler. This is the second day in a row I've had officers following me for no reason on my way to work.
Okay.
Yesterday I had somebody. This is my routine. It's like clockwork. I go to Speedway every morning around between 1 and 3, get my coffee, drive down Lannon, take 164, go to Waukesha. Yesterday, I had an officer pull up behind me right at the intersection by the police department as I was going west and like sped up on me like they were going to pull me over. So I pulled over in the golf course parking lot, figuring I was getting pulled over. Well, that officer drove past at a high rate of speed down Lannon Road. Well, I watched them and they turned around and came back. They backtracked. So I pulled out, proceeded to go past the light by the high school, and then they flew up on me again. So I pulled over just west of Mequon Road, and then the cop drove by me again, and then they backtracked and came back behind me again, and then I turned onto the freeway. I didn't want to take the freeway to Waukesha, but didn't really have a choice if I didn't want to be followed. Now this morning, same thing again. Went to Speedway, just got my cup of coffee. I'm driving down Lannon Road, not speeding. My car's insured. I've got my license. Everything's valid. I pass one cop, no issue. He's going past the library towards the police station. Whoever was just over by the high school literally pulled out behind me again and followed me all the way to the 45 South on ramp. And that's where I'm sitting right now because I don't want to get back out on the road and be followed by police officers. This is ridiculous.
I pause it. Reason being is I want to point a few things out. Obviously, I kind of just paraphrase what just happened. Very similar to what I told you guys. Um, Something important is going to come up here as far as the description of the officer that I clearly could see. I wouldn't say clearly see, but I had a pretty good description of what he looked like, who this officer was. So listen to what he says and his response to this occurring or happening or the end result.
Okay. I guess how long ago did this happen?
Literally just 10 minutes ago.
Okay. You didn't happen to see like a car number or anything like that by
No.
chance?
But I rolled my
Okay.
window down and I stuck my arms up like, what? And the officer just looked at me. It looked like a larger fellow, but I don't know what this cop's issue is. But this is harassment, dude. I'm not doing anything wrong. And he was behind me long enough right now just to run my plate because we were stopped at the light. We had to wait for the light to turn green. And I literally just pulled right off onto the shoulder. That's where I'm sitting right now.
Okay. Um. So you said, was this guy wearing a stocking hat and had a like facial hair at all or no?
I could barely tell. Like I said, the guy kind of looked a little lighter. Like he was a Caucasian male, probably a little heavier set. It was hard to tell because I mean I obviously I couldn't see. It's still dark out.
Okay. No, sure. No, no, fair enough. I'm looking at the map right now. I'm just trying to figure out who it may or may
Well,
not have.
the officer went down southbound on 45 and probably got down. They're probably on Pilgrim or somewhere near Walmart because they got on the freeway.
Okay. It's like you said, like 10 minutes ago or so.
Yep.
Okay. And where you at right now, Tyler?
I'm sitting on the southbound ramp, Highway 45, with my car off.
Okay. Well, I mean, I prefer you. I mean, if you gotta get going to work, I mean, I prefer you to get. I mean, especially on the interstate, I don't want you to get smoked or anything.
Well,
Um.
I'm all the way on the shoulder, like I'm off safely. And like I said, each
Okay.
time yesterday I pulled off into a safe location. I turned into the golf course because I'm like, hey, if you're gonna pull me over, let's be safe. It's still Lennon Road. It's still 2 in the morning. Whatever. But like this is getting ridiculous.
Okay. Well, I can look into it, see which officer it was.
Sure.
But there's at least two guys. I'm sorry, one guy that's working tonight that wasn't working yesterday. So I know it wasn't him. Um, I mean, to be quite like frank with you, I mean, I'm sure it's not like a targeted thing. I know it kind of seems that way. It's really coincidental. But I mean, this is like kind of like not like routine, but it's normal where I mean, third shift we're actively looking for stuff where we do kind of tend to speed up on cars or get behind cars and
I
to
understand
run
that, but
plates
like,
and see everything.
but there's no probable cause to do that. I went to school to be
I
a
mean,
cop. I
sure.
interned with the West Bend Police Department. I know you need to have probable cause to even. There, I wasn't doing anything. I wasn't swerving. I wasn't speeding. I drive a white Dodge Challenger. If that's a crime in Germantown, then sorry to me, but like, there's no reason to be interacted with.
Right, but I mean, we don't know every single person that's driving every single car either. I
Right,
mean,
but
kind of
the
puts us in a bad spot too.
I get that, but there's no reason to fly up on me 2 days in a row, regardless. Like, I wasn't doing anything wrong. And if that officer would like to explain to me what I was doing that was so suspicious, I'd love to know. Yes, my windows are tinted. Yes, they're 20%. They're at the legal limit. They're ceramic. I can see through them. Like, what is the issue? I don't
I mean,
know.
well, I mean, clearly there wasn't an issue if you never got stopped. Um, I mean, I guess is there something like specific that like you would like me to follow up with, or like
I'd
I
like
guess
to know
what
why I'm
exactly?
being followed every morning. And this is just starting recently. I've had this car for a month. I've been driving to work between the midnight 11 o'clock and 3 a.m. window for the last year through Germantown. Never had this issue, and all of a sudden now it's a problem. I
Okay, and you
just
said
don't.
you live in Germantown too.
Yeah. I live on Sylvan Circle.
Okay. Have we ever had contact like with you, Tyler, like a call or anything like that
No,
at all?
no, not
Okay.
at all.
Okay. So now, like you're saying last night, now the same thing today. You think
Same
it's
thing.
kind of like
Yeah, it's too coincidental for me. And if you're saying the
Okay.
same person worked both, another person worked both nights, I think there's something to it. I'm not trying to speculate or place blame, but like I said, I'm now sitting on the side of the road in a cold car because I don't want to drive through Germantown anymore, and I shouldn't have to tiptoe around the city to go home to where I live. And I shouldn't have to tiptoe around Germantown and take back roads and all this other stuff when I should be able to just drive down Lannon to Q and go to 164 and go to Waukesha and go to work.
Sure. And I mean, if you're following the traffic laws and you're driving fine, I mean it shouldn't be an issue, right?
It never has been before, but lately the last 2 nights or the 2 mornings, it's been an issue.
So I guess would you prefer us to not be active and not be driving around
I would
and just
prefer
sit and
not
do
to.
nothing?
I would prefer not to have officers every time I'm out on the road fly up my butt. I have no problem with you guys doing your job. And like I said, I know what the law is as far as probable cause for traffic stops, and there was no reason for it. That behavior is to circle back 3 times yesterday was uncalled for. And then
Well,
today,
to be
to,
fair, I mean it's not really that common for cars just to. I mean, from our perspective, if I'm behind a car and now it ducks off into a parking lot all of a sudden for no apparent reason, to me like that raises like red flags in my head. It's like, that's like an abnormal thing for the average car to be doing. So when you did that, maybe it raised a red flag for that officer saying, that's odd. I mean, of how many cars were behind, how many cars actually do that, right? It's an abnormally thing. That's kind of how
well,
we work.
I pulled over because they flew up on me in the right lane, and I thought I was getting pulled over. So from my point of view, there was no reason to pull up aggressively on me in the first place. I wasn't doing anything, and I pulled over for their safety. So like, it's kind of like the flip of the coin. But then to just circle back and then get behind me again when I wasn't doing anything and pull up on me, and then I pull over again. The second time they didn't even, they could have pulled over at any time and said, "Hey, we have a question about this, question about that." But to just,
I mean, and to be fair, like we don't know what's going on inside of a car or who it is or what's going on until we actually like look into it a little bit more.
And I
Well,
understand.
I understand what you're saying is like I wasn't
Then
doing
then
anything.
don't
I mean,
then
I'm
the
sure you weren't,
but then
but we
if
don't
they
know that.
then they need to make the traffic stop. If they're constantly circling back, they shouldn't have came back 3 times. If that was an issue the second time, no offense, they should have pulled me over and spoke to me, but they didn't. And they should have pulled me over the first time if they had reasonable suspicion or probable cause, but they didn't. But I'm saying the actions that they're taking are borderline harassment. And I'm not going to pull my phone out and start recording while I'm driving because that's illegal. But like I said before, today again, pulls out from the high school, gets right up on my ass, literally sits behind me by the light here, follows me onto the on ramp, and when I roll my window down and say, "What's up?" he just kind of looks at me and drives off. That's bullshit.
I guess there's kind of a disconnect between you and I right now. Like I understand, like you feel like you're being harassed or being followed, but there's also like we get split seconds and a few seconds to kind of piece together what's going on. Like you know how many cars I drive by every single day, and like I'm looking into it. Like and I understand that it's you and it's your issue. I understand that. I'm not trying to minimize it or anything, but from our perspective, like there's a way bigger. I guess we're looking at the ocean. You're kind of a fish in this said
I
ocean.
get that,
There's a,
but what I'm going to start doing is I'm literally going to start pulling over and stopping my car the second I see a cop in the morning because I'm just tired of dealing with it. If you're going to pull me over, pull me over. Like I said, I've been
I
doing
mean,
this. I've
I've
been
been
driving,
followed before too. I mean, you're not the
but
only person been followed by a police officer before.
14 months I've lived out here and this has never been an issue, and all of a sudden now it's a problem. I
Well, were
got a
you
new
pulled?
car a
I guess what
month
I'm trying to get
ago.
at is you're never pulled over. So I guess, I mean, if you have an issue with my guys being out there and being active, I mean that's. I
No,
guess I just have a
there is
disconnect here.
no
It's just
issue
this
with
whole
them
argument.
being active. It's how they're
Okay.
conducting themselves while they're out here on active duty, which needs to be addressed. There is no reason to be pulling up on people like aggressively, like you're going to do traffic stops, not once, not twice, but 3 times, and then do it on consecutive days. If you want to safely follow behind and run my plate, I get that. But there's no reason to get up in a traffic stop position on 4 different occasions now and then do nothing. That's harassment. It's uncalled for. Pull me over. If that's what your intent is, pull me over. And now I got a cop sitting there. Whoever it looks like there's somebody sitting at the parking ride behind me.
There's no one at the parking lot. I'm looking at the map right now.
Oh, never mind. You're right. But I'm just saying, there's ways to going about things, and then there's ways not to. You guys have the right to enforce the law. You guys have the right to be out here looking for drunk drivers. I understand it's bar close time, but you also don't have the right to just run up on people and just constantly do that. You're provoking panic in me as the person who's not even doing anything wrong. So not you in general, but by the officer's actions of constantly pulling up on me and circling back, you're creating more problems for me. Now I'm more worried about the cop than I am driving on the road. How is that fair to
But
me as a
I
driver?
guess the argument that we can pose then is if you're more worried about the cop getting pulled over, if you're theoretically not doing anything wrong, then there's nothing to be worried about.
But this is happening too frequently now. Now it's a pattern.
I
Now
mean,
it's a behavior. Once in a blue moon I could
well, I mean,
handle. Now it's a behavior.
I think it's a little stretch to call it behavior right now. To be honest with you,
Well,
if this is like an every single night for a week thing, then sure,
if I get
I
pulled
get
over
that. But
tomorrow, I guarantee you I'm not going to be very calm about it. Or if this same thing happens again, I'm not going to be calm about it because this is ridiculous. Whoever whoever's pulling up on people, they need to relax and they need to do it in a safe manner because that's not safe at all. And like I said, you're putting more stress on the driver doing that and repeating the motion and not actually doing the traffic stop. That's harassment, man. It's borderline
yeah, but
harassment.
we don't have to execute a traffic stop on every car that
You
we
don't you don't
come
have
in
the
contact
you
with.
don't have the legal right to pull up on people like that either. And I guarantee you a
To check
lawyer
the
would see it.
registration, yeah, I can do that.
No, you can't. Not if I'm
Yeah, we
not
can.
doing
I
it. You
promise
don't.
you.
If you don't have probable cause, There's no
I don't
reason
need
for you to
probable
do that.
cause for a traffic stop. I need reasonable suspicion for a traffic stop. First off.
Okay, then what is
Second off, how am I going to obtain reasonable suspicion if I'm not in contact with said vehicle?
so reasonable suspicion gives an officer a right to 3 times run up on my car just to run my plate. Wouldn't the officer have done it the first time? And if they did it the first time, then why did they do it 2 and 3 more times? And then today,
Yeah,
same scenario, man.
I guess I just don't know what you're looking for here, Tyler.
I'm
Like
looking for
I'm
you
all
guys
ears.
to
I'm
be
listening to you.
respectful and understand that, hey, you have a right to do your job, but I also have a right to drive down the road at any time of the day without feeling like I'm being harassed. Like, I don't, if you want me to come to the police station right now, you can take a look at my car. You can write me whatever tickets you want. I'll come willingly. If that's what it's going to take to get some, some space and the ability to drive to work without a hassle.
Well, I can assure you, if that officer was behind you today and yesterday, if they felt like there was enough there for a traffic stop to conduct a traffic stop, they would have, and they decided not to. So I mean, I want you to go to work. I don't want you to sit on the interstate and get hit by. Now we got other drunks on the road. I prefer you not to get hit on the interstate. Um, so I guess that's
I
right.
would prefer not
Let's
being
start there.
I would prefer not being here, but I'm here as a direct result of the actions of the officer. There was no reason for him to even do that.
But that's kind of the disconnect here. Is you have your mindset of you know what you're doing. I don't know what your mindset is in every single person that's driving on this road
So they're
in this
gonna.
whole village. I don't know what's going on.
I'll be honest with you. There's nobody else on the road, so that just gives them carte blanche to just roll up on me. Like I'm just trying to understand this because from your point of view, I understand you guys have a job to do. You have a city to protect. You have very limited staff on third shift. I know that for a fact because of the time frame. But like I said, people should be allowed to drive down the street and not feel like their ability to drive is infringed.
Well, it's not being infringed. I've been followed before too, and I'm a cop. I know what's going on. All right, it's like you said, time of day matters. It's 2 a.m. Unfortunately, it's bar close time. That's when you go to work. It's just the nature of the beast. I get it. I work third shift. I'm working third shift right now, so I get it. I also work second shift. I get off at 10:30. Also, it's late at night. You can't see the license plates at 2 a.m. You got to get up on people, unfortunately, sometimes to figure out what's going on. So I get it, how you feel like, okay, this cop's flying up on my ass. But also, like, you have to put yourself in my shoes, too, a little bit. We can't see everything at night. We kind of have to get a little more close and personal sometimes.
I get that
Trust me, this
I
is
get it
not a
with
personal thing.
I get it within reason. Like if you would have just like yesterday, if he would have just pulled up on me once and left me alone, it would have been fine. I would have just chalked it up, left it alone. But the fact that you circled back and you did it multiple times, I gave him the in. He could have came and pulled me over. I know the golf course is private property. So technically by law I was trespassing by being on their property during closed hours. He had the opportunity to initiate a traffic stop when I was pulled over on the side of the road. I gave him the in twice and he didn't take it.
So you prefer to get pulled over? I
I'm
guess
just saying I would volunteer I volunteered for whatever issue he was looking into. If he wanted to see if I was drinking, whatever, I gave him an opportunity to explore whatever hunch he had going on that he had to follow me. So I was trying to be a respectful citizen and pull over, and he didn't choose to do that opportunity. He continued the same behavior, just looping around, pulling up, looping around, pulling up. It's like, well, shit, how many more opportunities do I have to give you to make contact if you're doing this? Like I said, I respect what you guys do. I understand why you're doing it. It's happening in consecutive days now, and there's no reason for it. And it shouldn't matter what time of day I'm out on the road. If I'm not doing anything, I'm not doing anything.
right. But you know how many times I hear I am not doing anything or I haven't done anything? Like,
Well, I'm sure
I get it.
I'm sure it's a dime a dozen, and people are, got drugs in the car or weapons or they're felons. I mean, I'll give you my license plate, my plates, and my everything's registered. I've got insurance. My
Yeah,
driver's
sure.
license is suspended. There's no reason for it, man.
And I'm sure that's why you weren't pulled over in the first place. But we don't know these things until we do a little bit of digging.
Well, I mean, what do you? I don't know what they need to dig for. I mean, I'll give you my license plate, like I said. If you guys
Well, I
need
don't
to,
need your license plate. I mean, if dude, trust me, if I had X-ray vision and I could read every single plate from a mile away and I knew what was coming down the road and who was driving it, I'd be the best cop in the whole planet.
oh,
But like
absolutely.
nobody has that ability to do that. So like we have to do a little bit of digging and investigating, and we have to. There's more going on than like what meets the eye sometimes. All right, and you having like that background, like you should definitely know that.
But like I said yesterday, especially, there was no reason for 3 times being pulled up on. Because if the officer would have on the first, hear me out. Like I said, on the first initial pull up, he should have grabbed my plates, ran my information. He would have had everything he needed. Why was it
And
continuous?
maybe he did, maybe he didn't. I don't know.
I don't know. Well, like I said, I want to share my thoughts and my feelings, and I appreciate you taking the time out to talk to me. But like I said, if this becomes a recurring thing, I think we're gonna probably be chatting a little more because it's just like, come on, man. I've got the right to get to work. I've got the right to drive down the street and be unimpeded. You know, I'm not breaking the law. I mean, if the officer wants to take a picture and a handshake and whatever, so be it. I don't care. Like, just let me go to work.
I get it, man. Trust me. The last thing I want to do is impede the general motoring public, law-abiding citizens going to and from work. That's the last thing I want to infringe upon. But unfortunately, like I said, I don't know who you are, what you're doing, what's going on until we do a little bit more digging. And once we maybe do a little bit of checks and balances, figure out, oh, this is Tyler, lives in Germantown, his plate's good, his license is good, okay. But like, we don't know that until we know it. Essentially, like I wish it was a lot easier. I wish I had this with RoboCop. I wish I knew exactly who was going on, what was going on, when the cars are coming through, and who's in the car. But we don't know that. And I get it. Like now it's 2 days in a row. Like what the hell is going on? This is a pattern. But I mean, I mean my guys are out here on the road. I want them on the road. I want them doing stuff, and they do a good job being out here and being active and being visible. And I'm sorry that you feel like you're being harassed, but I mean, without talking to that officer, I mean, I don't know what's going on, to be honest with you. And I'll figure out who it was and what's going on and what the deal was. But I mean, ultimately, it's kind of it. Like you say, I'm not doing anything. I'm not doing anything wrong. I'm just going to work. I get it, dude. I hear this shit all the time. Sometimes that's not the case. Sometimes it is. More than not, it is the case. It's just a regular average Joe going to work. Perfect, cool. Let's move on. But when it's not, it's not. But we don't know that
Well,
until we
obviously,
actually do a
yeah.
little bit of digging.
Okay.
So just don't take it personal, dude. All right?
It's kind of hard with, like I said, it's 2 days in a row, and just the frequency in the events of yesterday, and now it just feels like I said, it feels like I'm being targeted, and I don't want to move out of the city because I like living here, but like if this
Sure.
keeps becoming a pattern, it's going to be a problem, and it's just like at some point we need to, if it continues, we're going to have to come to an agreement or come to terms with, you know, what's going on because this it's a behavior. It's not something I'm doing. I'm not giving any reason for whatever. Like that's uncalled for. So I appreciate you talking to me. I'm gonna get off this phone. I'm gonna get back on the road. I'm gonna get to
Sure.
work. Um, I'm not mad at you at all. Like I said, I'm just frustrated with the events. And it's just
I hear you.
it's
I
just
get it.
it's
You're
just
trying to go to work. I
too
get it.
too coincidental for my taste. So
I hear you, man.
all right, man. Well, be safe out there. And like I said, if we have any more situations like that, I'll be in contact.
All right, Tyler. Appreciate it, man. Have a good one.
You too.
So as you
Bye.
can see, he obviously threw out some descriptors of an officer that was working. It kind of matched what I saw in the car. It was a larger fellow. I couldn't really tell 100% just because of their shadows. And I couldn't tell if it was a beard. I couldn't tell anything other than he was a Caucasian male with a larger face. Now, I'm obviously a large guy, 5'8", 325, soaking wet. So obviously, I have a little bit of background in this field. I look for descriptors. I missed the squad number, so that's my fault. But he did also tell me, like I said, there's GPS in the vehicles. So at that point, I was really hoping that, obviously giving him my position and seeing where his officers were on the map, he could kind of see. And needless to say, obviously I wasn't there in his office, but I guarantee you he probably saw who it was and might have potentially had a conversation. Like I said, I left that phone call with the understanding that I was going to have no more issues. So I went to work that day. Again, my coworker saw I was upset and about what happened. Again, being followed aggressively, you know, nothing happened. And they had suggested I take an alternate route instead of trying to take Landon Mequon Road down to Highway Q and then Q to 164. So they suggested I go down Pilgrim Road because it's off one of the side streets where I live. Now, I did that. Did that for a couple days, worked great. I'm flying high. I'm able to leave work, or excuse me, leave to go to work. I'm not having any issues. I can stop at Speedway, get my coffee, shoot the shit with the employee for a little bit because he's really cool and that's great. And I have no issues. So then yesterday morning, I wake up. It's probably 1 o'clock. I'm on the road by like 1:25. I live a short distance from Speedway. Same routine. Go and get my coffee, talk to the employee for a little bit, and then I pull out of the parking lot and turn westbound on. Excuse me, let me correct myself. And you're going to hear me get mixed up with directions a little bit here in this video, and I'm going to preface why. There's a lot that's going to happen in this next set of video, um, because of the circumstances. When I do actually get stopped, I do get confused with direction because I'm trying to still piece out a lot of things. And this clip is going to show my point of view. I will be honest, I'm going to be very emotional, not like hysterically crying, but I'm going to be very boisterous. I'm going to do one thing that I regret and I shouldn't have done, and that's refuse to give him my driver's license. That is something I should have done 100% regardless of the situation. And if you're watching this, don't ever not do that. If you have ID, just give it to them. It's only going to create more of a conflict. Thankfully, on the stop, you'll see the officer was kind enough not to really hammer home that point. But as I'm sitting there, I'm going to get visually upset because I already know what's going to happen. I can literally see the officer, approach me and then pull me over. Now, as far as what he was doing, when I was at the light, the stop and go light, I was facing southbound on Squire Road, and he was going westbound down Landon Mequon Road towards the police department. I take my left hand turn and my light's green. He's already through the intersection. He's past me going back westbound again. So as it turned out, I'm driving down, all past the McDonald's, still doing 35, and you guys will hear my car in the background. I have muffler tips on the rear of my car, so when you accelerate, you're gonna hear it. And they're legal. Excuse me, they're legal muffler tips. You can buy them at any auto store. They're resonated. They're meant to do that. They're meant to give you a little pop, nothing too crazy or a little sound. Um, you're gonna hear my car accelerate. You're gonna hear it stop. It's gonna get to a point you'll hear me call out where I am on the street and on the road, and I'm calling out my location for a reason. One, because I already had started my camera, and I did that safely. I was stopped at the light. I knew he was gonna something was gonna happen. I had a feeling, and I always do this now. I bought a dash cam. I have a dash cam installed, so it's automatically in there. But Up until this point, I had to use my cell phone, so I would put it in my phone mount. I'm hands free. You never see me moving the camera around. It sits stationary on my dashboard. So I know some people are going to be like, "Well, he moved it, or he did this or that." The entire drive, I don't move, or the camera doesn't move. Excuse me. I'm moving. You can hear me moving, but I want you guys to kind of think about that. Listen to the tone of my muffler. You can hear my engine, how fast I'm going. Now, for some people, they're going to be like, "Oh, well, that doesn't mean anything. That doesn't mean anything." Well, honestly, it is a telling sign, because if I'm hammering down to speed, you're going to hear me speed to go really fast. It's just how cars work. And like I said, thankfully, I have those muffler tips on my car, so you'll be able to hear as I accelerate and I decelerate and make a decision from there. But needless to say, the officer initially started westbound. He wasn't even facing towards me. He was facing a completely opposite direction. At some point, he turned around, and I could see him behind me when I start recording. And you'll hear it. Don't worry. This officer then proceeded to turn around and try to do whatever he wanted to do. There comes a point in the video, the officer crosses over Pilgrim Road, continuing east on Mequon Road towards the city of Mequon. At this point, I'm probably a quarter mile down the road. You guys will see it. I have a Drive Safe app with State Farm. This app will also check and it records your trips, whether you're speeding, you're driving too aggressively, um, you're turning sharply, you're playing on your phone. Now, all this, I did speak to my local State Farm rep here in town. He's right down the street. He said it's accurate within 3 feet. So, I have the beacon, I have the information. I willingly offered any of this information over to the police. All the video, the phone call prior, all this video has been already turned over to the police. The reason why I'm bringing this video to you today is so that you guys can kind of see what I've been dealing with. Obviously, at this point, it's come to a head, and I'm upset, and I just want to go to work. So I'm in my car. Mindset is get your coffee, go to work, have a great day. Well, the officer's going to pull up on me rather aggressively. Once he actually physically turns onto the street where I'm at, watch for certain things like one, there's going to be headlights probably like in this section here. They're going to get faint and then they're going to get closer, and then you'll see the officer transition over lanes. Now, mind you, if you're listening to my muffler, my acceleration doesn't exceed anything normal. And on top of all that, I want you guys to just watch how long he sits behind me, regardless. Now, I understand the officer has a right to follow at a safe distance, but you'll see the lights come up to my car. He's going to switch lanes and then follow me again. It's almost 2 or 3 minutes before he actually throws the lights on. And then once he stops me is where the interaction gets a little dicey for me. And when he gives me the reason why he pulled me over, I lose my cool, and I'm not going to lie. He gave me the reason of speeding. He gave me it again. And if I'm not mistaken, he said it a third time. And when I obviously was stating my case in a very unique way and was able, and it clearly indicated that I could provide proof, there was a secondary reasoning all of a sudden. And like I said before, tint, 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 tint. I have tint on my car. Okay. But that magically, you can see the officer kind of sit there and process what I'm saying and look down and look around. And he uses tint as another reason for pulling me over on top of speeding. So I'll roll the footage here, and then there's going to be a point where it cuts off and we'll go from there. What a surprise. Germantown Police Department pull out and go down Lennon Road, and they go down the block and turn around. I'm getting really tired of this.
Alright, so I'm doing 37. I'm passing Jefferson. Pulling up to the light. What is this? Donges Bay. This dude came all the way. He went across. He went west on Lannon after going east and turning around. And now I'm on Donges Bay going to the light. And he's right behind me again. Like, seriously? You guys don't have nothing better to do than to follow around one guy. I grow tired of this game with you fucking people. Oh, and he's behind me again. What a surprise. That's who's behind me. Can I help you? Wow. Are you serious right now? You're serious. Let's see what this idiot has to say. I'm getting really tired of this.
Morning, sir. Officer Bros, Germantown Police. The reason for the traffic stop this morning is for your speed going down Pilgrim.
I wasn't speeding going down Pilgrim. I was going 35 as it was posted. And if that's where you pulled me over, that's BS. Because I literally just got coffee. And I'm perfectly sober. This is not the first time you guys have been following me around town. And I'm getting really tired of it. I'm going to work. Just let me go to work. Stop following me.
Okay, so I can say this is my first interaction face-to-face with you.
Regardless, I've had officers crawl up my butt over the last week, like 3 or 4 times. And this is ridiculous. I wasn't speeding. I have been recording. I record every time I get in my car because you guys like to follow me on some dumb shit all the time.
Okay. All right. So, like I said, the reason for the
You
stop...
literally pulled...
I'm just trying to tell you about the stop. All right.
Okay.
So the reason for the stop was the speed. Okay. So when I saw him or I saw you was 54 miles per hour. Excuse me. Sorry.
Bullshit, dude. You pulled... Okay. Call supervisor. I don't even want to talk to you.
I was using forward-facing radar. Okay.
No. There's no way I was going 55. No, not at all. There is no way I was going 55 on that street. And yes, you are being recorded because that's BS. I want to talk to a supervisor. I was doing the speed limit. It's on camera. There's no reason why I would go 55 in a 35. Are you nuts?
All right. Okay. If you want a supervisor, I can call him out here.
Yeah, I do want a supervisor.
In the meantime, do you have your driver's license
No,
with you?
I'm not giving you my driver's license until the supervisor gets here. You had no reason to pull me over, and you pulled me over.
The second reason for the stop...
You drove...
I'm trying... Okay, so the second reason...
I'm done talking.
The second reason for the traffic stop, sir, is for the window tint.
It's at 20%, which is the legal limit, and it's ceramic so you can see out of it.
Okay.
You guys are just finding reasons to mess with me. I'm getting tired of this. Call your supervisor. I'm filing a complaint. You literally went east on Lannon, turned around, and then went west past the light, then came back and came down Pilgrim. I was doing 35 the entire time. And I have the DriveSafe app on my phone that will back that up. So if you want to sit there and tell me that I was doing 55 and a 35, I'm calling you a liar. There is absolutely zero reason why I can't go from my house to work in any direction in this city without you guys screwing with me. And I've been living out here for a while, and you haven't until I bought this car. And I'm not speeding. I'm not being just, driving around stupid. I'm driving respectfully. I'm following all the posted signs, and you guys want to fly up on me 2 and 3 times and get aggressive and run my plates and then play little games like this. I literally watched you at the light go westbound.
All right. So can I just get your license and we can just move it along quicker?
No, I'm not going to give you my license because you had no reason to pull me over. I wasn't speeding. You're making up things to try to get me.
No, I'm making up anything.
No, I'll talk to the supervisor when he gets here. I have no weapons on me. My car is registered.
Okay.
My license is valid. My registration is valid. I have insurance. When the supervisor gets here, I will talk to him.
Are you the registered owner of the vehicle?
Yes, I am, sir.
All right. I'll be back in a little bit.
This is why they need to get their shit straight. Young cops are just out here with something to prove. I literally have the DriveSafe app. It would tell me if I was speeding. That's ridiculous. My window tint. Well, now you're just looking for things, dude.
All right, so we're back. Obviously, that was a very interesting interaction. Clearly, at this point in my head, I know I have proof I wasn't speeding. Not only did I not request, I should have requested the radar to see the radar. Obviously, that would have been an option for me to try to validate my point. But at this point, the reason why I was very defensive in this is because, once again, you guys have clearly seen the history, you've heard the history, and now you see what this officer is doing. Now, like I said before, I want to just touch briefly on the searching of the vehicle. I'm okay with that. I voluntarily rolled all my windows down so that he could see in my vehicle to make sure he's safe, I'm safe. I get that. So, like I said, just kind of key in on that. He did a pretty thorough search visually. And like I said, I mean, you could clearly see his flashlight moving around. His eyes are moving around. I think what infuriated me even more is that when I watched him and I would look at him and I could see his eyes, and then when I emphasized that I could display proof I wasn't speeding, you saw in the video. I'm going to let it speak for itself.
Hello, sir.
Yeah.
Hey, I'm Sergeant Schultz. So what's going on today?
So your officer,
Mm-hmm.
I literally was at the stoplight by Speedway.
Okay.
Just got coffee.
The Speedway up on Metro?
Yep, absolutely. Turned left, was doing the speed limit, no issue, right? Your officer literally is going eastbound past the station, or westbound, excuse me.
Okay.
He literally turns around as I pull out. I literally stopped and waited for that reason. There's no reason to look in my car, guys. You have no probable cause to pull me over. I'm just trying to go to work. So stop looking around in my car.
Speak with our sergeant then.
Then back away from my vehicle,
No,
please.
sir, I will not do that.
He's just making sure there's no weapons.
There is no
There
weapons in the car.
There's
This is
not
exact.
counsel, sir.
Okay.
This
I'm
is
just
exactly
making
what I'm
sure.
talking about. I called and talked to a shift supervisor about a week and a half ago for the same issues being followed, being tailed, overly aggressive policing for no reason. Okay? I pulled out doing the speed limit. I record every time I move in my car at night because of this reason, because I've been harassed.
You have proof like of your speed and stuff?
Yeah, I have the Drive Safe app in my phone. It will tell me if I'm speeding or not. He said he clocked me doing 55 down Pilgrim. I know that's a lie.
Do you have any, like, you can bring that up now?
I will do that once I'm done with this interaction, because I'm recording everything. I'm not going to turn off my camera because you guys are on some bullshit. No offense.
Okay.
But I'm just saying, he claims that I was doing 55 when I was doing 35 the entire time. Then when he pulled me over, he told me that. And I said, okay, that's a bold-faced lie. Well, then it was, oh, now it's your tint. Now it's this, now it's that. Now he's searching for reasons to initiate this stop. And now I've got this guy over here looking for bazookas and laser guns or whatever with his attitude. Just because you got a badge, dude, doesn't mean you got to get all pushy with it, man. I'm just trying to go to work. I pay my taxes.
As fast as possible
my shit's insured. It's in my name. You guys need to stop fucking with me with I'm going to work, because now you're harassing me.
Okay. Did you have your ID on you then? Appreciate
I'm reaching for my registration.
Perfect.
Yeah, there's no guns in there, guys. You want to get a dog out here too? Here's my registration.
Okay.
I'm taking my seatbelt off.
Yeah, go for it, man. I appreciate it.
This is absolutely ridiculous. I will be contacting the chief too. Okay. You guys need to stop fucking with people who are trying to go to work, dude. This is, and I'm not even going to bring race into it because it has nothing to do with it. It's the fact that you guys got nothing to do at night. There's literally a lady walking drunk in Speedway right now, swaying. A drunk person in the store, and you're pulling me over on some dumb shit.
Was she driving?
She was walking. She's publicly intoxicated, and you're more worried about me than actually patrolling your city. What am I doing that's so menacing besides driving the speed limit and going to work?
Okay. Well, I understand you got to get to work, so we'll try to make this as fast as you can, or as fast as we can. So I understand there was some concerns with the tint.
It's at 20.
It was 20%?
It's 20%, which is the legal limit in Wisconsin.
Okay.
I looked it up before I paid for it, and like I said, these he didn't even say that when it was like, oh well, you weren't speeding. Well, it's your window tint too. I have it all in recording.
Okay, well that's fine. So what we're gonna do quick is just test the tint, and then we'll go from there.
How are you going to test the tint at 2 o'clock in the morning?
We have a special device that does that.
Test it.
That's
Test
why
it.
I'm here, man. That's why I'm here, sir.
Test it.
So let me talk to you first, okay?
No,
so you said let me talk to you. Okay, so you said you got 20%. So the state of Wisconsin says 50% in the front, which means you're 30% darker than what the legal limit allows. Also, your front tint line here, your banner, is lower than what your windshield allows. State of Wisconsin only allows front tinting to your AS1 line, which is right up here. You're significantly below it. So right there, sir.
So here?
Unless you have
Do me a
medical
favor.
exemption, sir.
Do me a favor.
It's already illegal, I can tell you.
Do me a favor.
What favor may I
Why
do
don't
for
why don't you call this guy here in Waukesha who does it professionally?
No, thank you.
And why don't you issue him the citation?
Sure,
Because he's the guy.
Waukesha.
Yeah, well,
I'm gonna get the tint meter, all right, man. There's no point in arguing.
see, this is what I'm talking about. I don't need his attitude. He doesn't need to be a fucking asshole.
Okay.
He can just say, hey man, we're gonna check your tint, and if everything's cool, cool. But now this is the shit I gotta deal with.
Sure.
I get he's doing his job. I went to school to be a cop. That's excessive, dude.
Okay.
Like, what is it? What is he looking for? Do you want me? I'll get out right now. You guys
if you
can
want
search.
to step out
You guys can search me if you're so fucking worried about me being a fuck. Now I'm gonna make it racial. This is bullshit. This is racial profiling. Here, I'll put my hands right here. You guys can search me since you're so fucking worried about everything I've got.
Can you still lower and up? I gotta move
No,
the
I'm not
windows.
gonna.
I gotta
No,
manipulate
the window's right here. If you want to do it
Side
there.
windows.
It's the same tint, dude.
I'm just.
And there's a side window right here, dude.
So Tyler,
So it's manipulate the windows. Then. Okay,
slides
thank you.
onto the-
Please
Let's
stand.
just step back
Please
here.
stand back here then.
I don't want you near my vehicle.
Please stand back.
I
here.
do not want
I'm
you
gonna
to-
check your tint, and it's going to happen.
My windows are right here. Sarge, why do I need
Walk
to
back
have
here.
That's what he has to do to operate.
That's what's
the
going to
machine.
happen. Trained and justified.
I'm gonna roll the window up, dude. Back off.
Okay, go ahead.
Go ahead. Please.
Can you step back,
Nope,
please?
he's gonna stand.
There
right
is
there.
no.
He's
I'm
standing
not
right
gonna
here.
go anywhere.
Sir, please just do it.
We just want to get.
Jesus
get out
fucking Christ, dude. You guys are really forcing it. Yeah, I'm definitely filing a complaint with the city. There you
A
go.
little more for me, sir.
Oh my God.
Perfect, right there.
You want me to hold it for you while you pee too?
Odd comment, but okay.
Be a small fucking favor.
So you said 20, you're at 14, so that's illegal 10.
How long have you had the tint? How long have you had the tint for?
See, Canfield,
Yes, sir.
you don't need to be a fucking asshole, dude.
Okay.
Seriously, you're being a fucking asshole for no reason.
He's just telling you the percentage.
I understand that, but the way he's no, hold on a second, I'm talking.
Can I see that?
No, stop.
does it say-
One officer at a time. I'm talking to Sarge only. You guys are doing what you're doing too much.
All right. Would it make you feel better if I had these guys back?
Yeah,
away
they
and
need to
me and
just
you
back
talking?
away because
Right,
that
right,
dude
right,
is
right.
pissing me the fuck off by just talking to me like an
Well,
asshole.
I'll just talk to you then, one-on-one, man.
So, this is ridiculous, dude. You guys are
Move
fishing.
that down. Oh.
Well, he can wait. He's not the mayor.
I just wanna get
He's
you
not
to
the
work
governor.
too, man. I don't want.
Well,
I don't
at
know
this
how to
point,
feel
you
right.
guys are going to be the reason why I'm late. So, yeah, this is February 10th.
February. Okay, this year. 5%.
That's the sun strip.
Oh, that. Okay, I got you.
That's the sun strip, which
Okay.
he said is legit. So if I need something from you guys stating it needs to be changed, then I'll take it back and change it.
Okay.
See, this is the conversation I'm trying to have.
Yeah,
But-
I'm trying to be cool.
But
with you.
Deputy Fife over here, Sergeant Farva, wants to push it to the next level. If you guys give me something that says, hey, you need to change it, this guy said he will do it.
Okay.
Not an issue.
Okay.
But there's no reason to get 3, 4, 5 people out here, get all chesty about some windows because you want to be over here trying to prove something. All you have to do...
Oh, can you just roll that down quick for me?
Yeah,
If you don't mind.
that's fine. I have no problem.
Yeah, thank you.
See how easy that was? Hey, Canfield, I don't care. I don't care.
Down, please.
You see how easy
Perfect.
it is?
Right there. Right
You see how
there.
easy
Too far.
things happen when you
Too
actually
far.
treat somebody with some dignity and
Too far.
respect?
Can you put it back up, please?
Yeah.
Yeah.
We just want to
Perfect, right there.
All right, cool.
When you're nice to people, you get shit done. When you're a cop and you're being an asshole to people, that's when you get resistance. It doesn't
Yeah,
matter.
that makes
It doesn't matter what race you are. It's when you take things extra and go the extra mile to be an asshole for no reason.
Tyler, can I get a good phone number with you?
Like I said, he had no reason to fucking pull me over. That's bullshit.
Okay. Well, what I'd
55? No way, dude.
what I would recommend is your would you say app right safe
Right, I have the State Farm Safe Drive app.
Safe Drive.
It records all my trips.
Okay.
And I'll be installing a dash cam because now you guys are fucking pissing me off. No offense to you, indirectly,
Hey.
but this shit here should have never happened. I should be halfway to work right now in Waukesha, but you guys want to force the issue. And this guy over here, yeah.
Well, I mean, like I said, if you need to feel the need to file a complaint.
Oh, I'm going to file a
Okay.
complaint.
Okay, yeah, you just have to come
Because there was no reason why I should have been pulled over.
Okay.
He literally was a quarter mile down the road, went back east, and then came back around. So I literally was down the street. How could he do radar on me if he's down on Lannon and I'm at Donges Bay Light?
in. Well, if there's a clear sight, but
Dude, you're talking like almost 2 miles. There's no way a radar can hit that far, dude.
well, if
And
if
even
it is a
then,
flat surface, it can reach it, but
even then, I wasn't speeding. I was sitting at the light. How was I doing 55 at the light? How did he clock me doing 55 if I was sitting at the light?
well, you have that.
And
app.
yeah, I do.
How long does it record for?
Every time the car starts and stops.
Okay. So, but like saving wise,
What do you mean?
like does it delete after a certain time?
I can literally do a screenshot and record everything.
Okay.
Like I said, there's no way he ran radar on me because not only was he already east on Lannon, he was that far down, he was turning back on the Pilgrim when I was at Donges Bay Road.
Well,
And not only that, he was in the right lane and then moved over. As I got down here, he sped up to me.
okay.
So that tells you that if he had to speed up to me to catch me, that means I wasn't speeding. Am I right?
Well, it all depends on
Law
fast he was
physics?
going and stuff.
Law physics.
I'm not a physics major, man.
Well, maybe I should ask Deputy Farva over there because he seems to know everything about everything.
All right.
I'm just saying,
I know.
this is a bullshit stop.
But what I'm trying to suggest,
Tint aside, dude.
sure.
Tint aside, this is a bullshit stop. And I swear to God, this is going to a lawyer because you guys have no reason to keep stopping me when I'm just trying to go to work. I pay my taxes, I register my vehicle, I drive it safely on the road, and I've been followed for now. This is the third week of bullshit with you guys. And I'm not going to keep doing it. And especially if I got to deal with officers like this who can't talk to people normally.
Tyler, will you let me explain the tint to you?
You know what? You don't need to explain the tint to me. You want to know why? Because I know what the laws are in Wisconsin. I went to school to be a cop, dude. I know how to read the statutes book. But I also do know how to talk to people in an interaction and how to not escalate a situation like you just did. But you know everything. Fuck out of here. I'm just saying, dude, this needs to stop. And if this is all over tint, that's cool, dude. You could have just came up to me and said, sir, I think your tint's too dark.
Okay.
That's all he would have had to say. But to falsely accuse me of speeding, when one, he didn't even see me accelerate onto Pilgrim.
Okay. Well, like I said, we have all our SWAT cams and we can review it and stuff like that and go from there, too. But can I just make a quick suggestion?
Go ahead.
So like the app or whatever that
Absolutely.
saves it, it doesn't like delete after a certain amount
No,
of
I'm going to
time.
go through and I'm going to do a screen
Okay.
recording of my phone.
Okay, that's what I'm trying to
and make sure, because it shows you if you accelerate too fast, if you're speeding.
Well, with this thing, it probably.
Well,
this
is a V6.
Oh, okay.
And even then, I don't drive recklessly. There's idiots around here. During the day, I don't see you guys anywhere out here. There's people driving like fucking idiots doing 55, blowing past me down the street all the time. Landon Road too. See, he knows. He knows the vibe.
I've been on day shift, so I know.
But every time on nights is the only time I get fucked with him. I'm the only car on the road, dude. And I'm driving the speed limit, and I'm staying in my lane, and I'm not swerving.
Sure.
So what's the big deal? And then like somebody was like, oh, well, maybe it's your exhaust. I'm like, dude, bullshit, because my neighbor's truck is 4 times louder than my car.
Is it stock? Or did
Yeah.
you update? Oh.
Yeah, I just put muffler tips on it. Resonated muffler tips is $25 at AutoWorks or at Advanced Auto. You know, it's just like, oh, I'm doing everything the legal way,
Sure.
and now I'm still getting treated like I'm doing something wrong. And like I said, if it's an issue with the tint,
Yeah.
man to man, I don't give a shit. I'll peel it off right now if I have to. If you said peel it off, I'll peel it off.
Okay.
But like I said, it's the way he went about the interaction. He seriously needs to check his attitude at the door.
Okay. Well, we can check that. But
You know, I'm not trying to be difficult, but I'm just trying to hammer my point home.
I hear you.
There is no reason to be, I should be stopped today. There was no reasonable suspicion. There was no criminal act. There was no abuse of a motor vehicle. There was no inattentive driving. There was no speeding. At almost 2.5 to 3 miles away, there is no way he clocked me going.
All right, so we're back from that. Sorry, I had to switch rooms. So obviously you can see the last week of events has really gotten to me at this interaction. The reason why I stopped recording, my phone died. I was on my way to work, charging my phone, and it died. So, long story short, you can clearly see that once that officer leaves the scene, the whole dynamic changes. The whole dynamic changes. Now, I'm not opposed to a law enforcement officer doing their job, not at all. But the officer who stopped me, it wasn't a justifiable stop. There was no probable cause, and still to this day, I have no reason to believe that because still no one has told me how and when, concretely, that they got me speeding, doing that speed limit. Now, mind you, it got glossed over. They literally shifted the focus from speeding to my window tint, and you clearly see me struggle. I'm struggling to make headway of what's going on. I've got two officers behind me talking crazy through the window. I'm trying to talk to the staff sergeant. I'm trying to explain to him why I asked for him. And I've got two guys doing the most. Like, hey man, I understand you're out here trying to do your job, but for the officer with the beard, dude, you need to relax, man. I'm not doing anything wrong, and you clearly came in and took over a scene that you really had no business doing. And furthermore, I'm not sure how their department protocol is, but if there were 4 officers at that one gas station, who's patrolling the city? Like, does this one officer only know how to run a tint A tint inspection? Probably not. I'm pretty sure there's all of them that are trained to do it. It's probably a standardized test. And if I'm wrong, prove me wrong. What really gets me on this whole ordeal is that not only was did I have to emotionally deal with this, this is the third day in a little over a week where I'm now dealing with another interaction with these officers. And now I have to, on top of that, now carry that burden going forward on are they going to try to retaliate because I recorded? I'm obviously going to live my life. I've got a dash cam, four-way dash cam in my car. So, I mean, if they want to play their games, let them play their games. It's going to be all on camera. Clearly, there's now a behavior formed with these night shift guys because, like I said before, I knew something was fishy from that phone call when he started describing what the guy looked like, scruffy with a hat. And I turn around and look out my window, and there he is. What a surprise. Now, like I said, his actions solidified my thought process on who was following me. Now, I'm assuming at this point he knows that I know it's him. Obviously, if this gets addressed by the department, then so be it. But if this now happens again, I don't know what else to do because clearly the police department has this officer will have a valid reason I should say. If he's whatever his crusade is, it needs to end. I got 100% come clean. I didn't handle the situation the best. And in my defense, I'm on my way to work. It's 1:30 in the morning. I'm trying to drink some coffee. I'm not doing anything. And out of nowhere, this officer decides to pull me over. And pull me over for what I still have yet to figure out why. Obviously, he's claiming it's speeding twice and then window tint. But there's three separate issues here. The first issue is the stop. Did he have justifiable means to stop me? I honestly don't feel he does. He it never got fully addressed. Okay. Secondly, the officer's conduct at my vehicle was absolutely uncalled for. The sarcasm, just the smugness to go get his window tint checker. The fact that he didn't even explain to me what to do, he just did it. I had no idea what was going on. You can see a lot of confusion. And if you guys were in my shoes and you're having three different officers moving around you, and two out of the three, well, actually one out of the three, is bullying the scene around like he owns it and he's the man and he's not even the one in charge. So at this point, I've got to worry about a rogue cop. So that's issue number two. We got a rogue cop out here that thinks he is the entire force. Now, the third issue is the tint. Okay, that's fine. If we got to address it, you heard me. I'm a grown man. I'm almost 42 years old. If I got to tear it off, and I even offered to tear it off, or they didn't tell me to do that. So, at this point, I feel the window tint is a dead issue. So what did I get from all that? What was the end result? Well, the end result of that is I got nothing. I got hey man, why don't you go ahead and get to work? And as far as the speeding, they never addressed it. I got nothing. And I'm sorry if he clocked me doing 20 over, that should have been a ticket. There's no way you're getting a verbal warning on a 20 over. I don't care what state you're in. When it comes to the window tint, this was the last thing that I was told before the officers left. I was told that I need to check my mail because I would be receiving some information on how to get my tint fixed, or suggestions on how to get my tint fixed. Whatever they said. That was not verbatim, but it was a summary. They pretty much told me they're going to give me a leaflet or a pamphlet on suggestions on how to fix my window tint. So out of all that and all that production, all that effort and all that energy that officer put out there to be extra and be difficult over window tint, not speeding, not a weapon, not drugs, window tint. I got nothing. Nothing, not even a ticket. And you clearly heard that I would be more than willing to strip it off. If it was that bad, I would have done it. Now, mind you, I was waiting to see if he was actually going to show me the reading on his machine. He never did. Sarcasm. I told you it was legal. That's fine, dude. You have your agenda and you're sticking to it. You clearly are out here trying to do your best work or be extra. But I'm sorry, dude, you're not doing it the right way. And I'm not looking for people to get fired. I'm not trying to burn people at the stand here. You guys need to recognize that the behavior you're doing and the way you're policing this city isn't effective. And not only is it affecting me, it's now affecting my family. Putting all this together has taken time away from my family. I lost time at work. I had to use a vacation day yesterday because by the time I got to work, I was so emotionally disturbed and shaking, I was sent home. They didn't want me to be there because for safety, they wanted me to just calm down and relax. And on top of all that, no, I had to pay for a dash cam for officers that clearly don't know how to police their community or put two and two together or add things up or I don't know, let the people be. So needless to say, the only thing I can say left to the officers is that, when you guys go home at night, I want you to be safe. When you guys come out here, I want you to be safe. But do me a huge favor. Stop jumping to conclusions. Stop thinking that everybody is a criminal. Stop running up on people aggressively. Because, in all honesty, you both could be really great officers, but this behavior and these events are going to also make other people feel the way I do. Right now, I don't have a good vibe with you guys. And it's nothing that I did wrong. Nothing that you guys can prove in the court of law that I did wrong. So, keep following me. I mean, at this point, I got my dash cam. It's got GPS. It's got, it records the speed. So if they want to play the game, I'll play it too. That's fine. But like I said, stop playing the games. Be respectful. And just have a conversation with somebody. Don't just come up and just assume that they're a felon and that they've got weapons in their car and this and that, because that's the perception that you gave off as soon as you rolled up on scene. So I don't know if this guy heard the radio traffic and decided like, oh, I'm going to go see what it's all about. Oh, I got to, I'm pretty sure if somebody requests a supervisor, it doesn't require the entire shift to be on the call. Now, granted, it could be because I did, like I said before, I refused to give my ID, which is fine, and that would have been right to be there. At that point, they could have detained me. I wasn't detained, but there's a lot of areas in this whole call that could have been done differently. From one person talking at a time, the supervisor actually being able to have command of the scene, legally justifying your stop. You had no legal right to stop me. They still have yet to prove why they stopped me. The conduct of the officers. So, just as a citizen in your city, I don't care where you guys live. This can happen to anybody. Sadly, in this day and age, this is what it's coming down to, is that we have to literally spend more money that we don't have to put things in our vehicles to protect ourselves from the people that are protecting us. And I want to give a huge thank you to the lieutenant who took my complaint the same day, later that day. Um, he's seen everything that you guys have seen, and clearly there's the report was taken. At this point, it's an open investigation. I don't know what they're going to do internally, but I'm going to keep documenting every time something happens with these officers because I don't know what else to do, you know. So be safe out there. I would suggest getting a dash cam. You can get them for like $10 or $15 on Facebook Marketplace for some of them. I got mine off Amazon. Like I said, it's a 4-direction 4K recording device. But be safe out there, guys. And obviously, seeing my interaction, just be smart about it. Give me your ID. Try to keep your cool. Clearly, I am the example instead of setting it. But like I feel that I'm just in the way I acted because of their behavior, their previous actions with me, and I wish everybody that goes on shift, whatever you do for a living, be safe, especially police officers and military, but be smart about it and just patrol the city like you're supposed to.